call the July 27th meeting to order, and we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We know if
June 22nd, 2022 minutes
They were
were
both right?
reviewed, not July, though, not the
Okay.
13th.
all right, so motion to approve the minutes for June 22nd.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. All right, NOIs, 242, 1837, 1260 Salem Street, request to continue to August 10th.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Are we getting any headway with them, or?
The engineer's just working with the applicant to redesign the project.
Are you having any communication with them at all?
Yeah, I check in with Jack weekly.
Well, I mean, like I said, if he needs a month or a month and a half.
Yeah,
or
I know.
whatever.
I recommend it, but he just says, just the next meeting. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Next one is 242, no number, right?
Yep.
Long Pasture Road. Request to continue till August 10th.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is 242, no number, 315 Turnpike Street, Merrimack College.
Good evening. My name is Felipe Schwartz, Vice President of Capital Planning Facilities at Merrimack College. I'm pleased to be before you to present, or introduce, I should say, a fantastic new storage building. This is
A
literally...
fantastic new storage building? I've never heard that one before.
This is a utilitarian, pre-engineered storage building that we would like to place behind the athletic center. This is directly outside the Zamboni doors. If you know the building, on the back side is 114, but the front of it would be the Zamboni entrances of the rink, and primarily to help us store athletic equipment and materials associated with the building. So with that, I will turn it over to our friends at VHB who can walk you through the wetland issues of the project.
Good. Okay.
Good evening, Jeff Ketteritz with VHB. I'm a site civil engineer. I also have Claire Gubler with us, our environmental scientist. And just give you a quick intro to the plan here. As Felipe mentioned. Sounds okay. Into the mic, sorry. So maybe to highlight the dashed line here represents the limits of the existing pavement. So what we're proposing is cutting out a portion of that at the back and replacing it with the storage building that Felipe mentioned. There's about 1,500 square foot of existing pavement that's going to come out and be replaced with the roof area. In total, it's a 3,200 square foot storage building. The existing area between the existing building and our new building, surface runoff just sheet flows off to the left side of the page there. And we're proposing to create a surface infiltration basin to provide water quality treatment for an area that currently just sheet flows into the existing wetlands. That'll serve for our stormwater peak flows mitigation, as well as providing water quality treatment that doesn't currently exist. Utility services to the building are pretty limited. The purpose of it, it's really just to be temperature controlled for any of the equipment that's being stored there. So there will be power, telecommunications conduits running in, and that's about it. I'm sorry, gas service as well for temperature controls. No water services, no drain services, no sewer services. Roof runoff from the building, it's a single pitched roof from front to back, I guess, plan south to plan north. So it will pitch off the plan north side of the building, and we've proposed a shallow perforated pipe to collect that and divert any of the new roof runoff to our new basin as well. Sure, and Claire can hop in on the wetlands here.
So just a quick overview of the wetlands. So this wetland here on the left side is wetland 1. So wetland 1 is an isolated vegetated wetland, which is bylaw regulated only. It's a PFO wetland, which means it's pedestrian forested. Like Jeff said, it's receiving runoff basically from the existing parking lot area, so it's all sheet flow. When we were out there, which was about November of 2021, we saw water stain leaves, and that area basically is receiving water, as I said, from the parking lot, and so everything that is within like the parking lot area, that's the 50-foot buffer zone, and then the 25-foot buffer zone extends only into that small sliver of the parking lot. And then the 100-foot buffer zone extends fully into the area that's already been developed. And then that's wetland 1. So wetland 2 is on the right side of your plan set, and that is also, though that's a bordering vegetated wetland, and that actually also has a bank on the southern side, and that is an intermittent stream. So the buffer zone to that, there's nothing proposed in the 25-foot buffer zone of that wetland. That's also PFO wetland. And then the 50-foot buffer zone, there's no proposed work. And then within the 100-foot, obviously, portions of the existing parking lot and the proposed building. But yeah, that's about it for the wetlands.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tony?
The area that's encompassed by like the 1 series wetland flag looks kind of low. Did you evaluate for ILSF on that wetland? Because it looks like the...
For wetland 1?
Yes.
And which wetland flag did you say?
Well, there's a 242 contour that runs around wetland flag 1104 back down to 94.
I don't have a contour map in front of me right now.
Yeah, have you sheet C3?
Okay.
Yep. And just by scale, it's a little over 100 feet long, by about 60 feet wide.
Right.
And then it looks like there's another depression offshoot that the whole parking area runs into. Was it evaluated to see if it was isolatedly subject to flooding? Or
I don't believe so. We could definitely do that, though.
and then check to see if it meets the definition of an ephemeral pool under the local bylaw as well, because that would change.
Yeah. I don't believe it does.
And then just the stormwater comments, assuming you're going to resolve those, but they're talking about the perk rates and the infiltration rates and the infiltration basin and that sort of thing, but just,
Sure, yeah. The stormwater, I should mention as well, we're going in front of the planning board as well, and they've engaged stormwater peer review.
Yeah, I
We're
flipped through the
in
list.
that process.
Yeah, so just, but that was just the other thing that kind of popped up, was just to make sure it's not ILSF, because it does look like, I don't know how far up the parking lot comes down this way, but I didn't see any catch basins or anything.
Yeah, we can evaluate that.
That was it.
Thanks, Tony. Al? I didn't realize there was that much land between 125 and the back of the
I know.
athletic building. Didn't we have issues at one time with snow storage in the Zamboni?
Yeah, this past winter, actually, that really was the area where we had to ask them to move and put it into another area. So,
That was clearing, here, I can explain it. That was clearing snow, pushing the snow this way, in this zone here. And we relocated that, thanks to our site visit we had, into this zone here. So that's now common practice.
Okay, but I thought they used to put it in the back of the building.
yeah, there was
Behind,
some,
between 125 and and the athletic center.
Athletics, yeah. There was some in that, there was some where the new building is going.
Where the
yes.
building's going?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did ask that snow storage be called out. You know, I don't know if it's enough, but in terms of space, but,
It's depicted in blue right here.
yeah.
There's not gonna be any
We don't have
access behind the building with, like, between 125 and the, between 125 and the back of the building, there's no access points there, right? I mean, they're not gonna be drive-through paving.
Correct, no, yeah, it's all
It's gonna
through
be
the,
impervious, right?
Yeah.
the front lot.
Impervious, I
Yeah.
should say.
Kind of tuck it into the landscape, not try to disturb too much.
I haven't, this is the first I saw, but I haven't read the comments yet, so. That hasn't been opened yet anyway, so. We're just opening this. Okay, I'm all set for now. Ryan?
Yeah, also still working my way through the stormwater comments, as I'm sure you can imagine. The one question I do have is, this is going to be an infiltration basin, correct?
Correct,
So it looks like the interior elevation is 242.9. The elevation of the wetland is at 242, so that's only a foot difference. So I'm just curious how you're going to get the 2 feet of separation there.
We, I would say we probably can't guarantee that we are getting that separation. We do have some historical test pit information. If I can, here. Just south of the basin, that in the spring was 3 feet below finished grade. Looking at seasonal high adjustments, we're expecting it's about 2.5 feet below finished grade. So we do, and this is going to have to be something we sort out through the stormwater review. I don't think we're going to be able to achieve that 2-foot separation. We are going to request that we can do it to the maximum extent practicable given the soils and groundwater conditions. What we'd like to do is avoid structural practices and just try to use as much of a country drainage approach as possible. But
So I mean, I think for where it's currently developed, you can meet it to the MEP, but any new development obviously has to meet it. So it's a pretty challenging spot with the high groundwater there to get anything to infiltrate. So that's what I'll personally be looking for, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I want to take back part of mine, because now that I'm looking, I thought that parking lot was sheeting down. It's actually sheeting away. It's almost like that wetlands at the top of the hill. It's just hard to read the contour labels. So
correct, yeah.
I apologize. I thought that whole parking lot was coming down. It looked like a 244, but it was a 241. So.
Yeah, it usually goes down to wetlands, not.
Yeah, no, it's the wetlands up on the top of the hill. I started looking at it, I'm like, wait, no, that's a 240, so how's that?
Which you would think that would help our groundwater conditions a little bit, but
No,
apparently
no,
not.
that's, Yeah, so, and just to add on to Ryan's, so if you have less than 2 feet, it may not
You mean
work,
I-
although if you're not relying on infiltration, which it doesn't look like it for mitigating your, maybe call it something else that doesn't require, that separation for.
Understood.
All right, no more questions? So we're gonna need to continue.
Is there any abutters?
Bonnie?
Abutters.
Oh, I'm sorry, do we have any butters here? I wouldn't think we'd have any butters on that side.
No.
The other side, maybe.
Notice them all.
All right, so,
So
you're
the,
going- you're
so
going
the
for
planning board opens their hearing on August 9th, which is a day before our next meeting. So, I don't know how far along they'll be. I imagine you'd have at least a comment letter back to Horsley Witten by then.
Yep.
So,
Well, we can continue in 2 weeks. You probably won't be ready, but unless you want to wait till 4.
If possible to keep it on, I think we're planning on having a response back to Janet by the beginning of next week. So if possible to keep that door open in case we
Okay.
meet with them when
All
we're
right,
able to
we'll
resolve that,
continue for
that'd be
2 weeks,
great.
'cause, you know, I'm sure all of us will be having more questions after we read the comments.
Yep.
Yep.
And I, not too often get through planning on one shot. So, we won't prove anything until planning is finished,
Yep, sure.
right? Right, so we're gonna continue for 2 weeks.
So, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Thanks for the
Thank
time,
you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Next one, RDA 28 Jared Place.
Yeah, you can sit.
You can have a
I'll-
seat, have a seat right there, and
I'll give a rundown and, alrighty.
looks like you're gonna be going solo, your health is not.
Yeah.
I got her in the building.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good first step. So just, we'll get to you in a second, give us a.
Okay. So this RDA is coming to you for removal of 3 healthy trees within the buffer zone to enhance exposure for a proposed roof solar panel project. All of the tree removals are outside of the 50-foot no disturbance zone to the vernal pool. So the wetland, subject wetland contains a vernal pool. And the trees will be removed by crane parked at the end of the driveway. So we have, 16-inch diameter oak, 12-inch oak, and a 16-inch hickory. And our field inspector made those measurements in the field to the wetland. So if the commission has no issues, I'd recommend to close the hearing, issue a negative number 3 with conditions that require a pre-construction with the homeowner and the tree contractor. Any trees that are located or straddle abutting property, that the applicant obtain permission to remove that tree. Make sure the crane is used, and a post-construction meeting just to ensure compliance.
Thank you. Tony?
So, the stumps are gonna remain, I have no problem. That's part of one of the conditions, right? No stump grinding?
No stop.
Oh, right, yeah, we can add that.
So, oh, you had it in your recommendation. One of your
Oh, yeah,
conditions.
okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
No, that's, so if the homeowner's fine with
Yeah,
that, that's
that's fine.
perfect.
Yeah.
There's a tree not on your property?
I'm not sure. It's close.
It looks like on the line we have here.
Kinda. I mean,
Okay,
GIS lines can be a little goofy,
Got it?
so it's not exact, but, we have to let them,
Well, just want to caution you, any approval we give you
right,
does not authorize trespass if it's not on your property. You
Okay.
have to be sure it's your tree,
Okay.
or get permission from your neighbor.
Okay.
Because just because if we
Yeah.
issue the permit,
Okay.
all right,
and that's a condition.
I'm sorry?
That's a condition
Okay.
that I recommended.
Yeah, I like it, thank you.
That's from that 158 bar. That's
Yep.
the neighbor?
Yep.
That's the
Yep.
address I see on the GIS.
Yeah, that's fine.
158.
Yep.
I know who that is.
I'm all set, thank you.
I'm just trying to figure out, how you getting there? The street, where do you see the street?
Where do I see
Of the
this?
driveway?
I see the street here.
Yeah, so the,
Yeah, just
Yeah, it looks like the driveway. The driveway go
it's
right to
pretty
it?
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the right in front of those dots, that's the top of my driveway.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, that's the driveway.
That's the
Oh, okay.
driveway, yeah. So,
Normally, when we have tree removal, it's, if the tree is dead, or the tree is a
hazard.
safety
Yeah.
issue, those are the only 2 criteria that we normally allow. Because, if everybody cut down healthy trees, we wouldn't have any. But in this case, they look good, but they're real close to the house, so.
They're outside the 50, Mr. Chairman.
And they're outside the 50.
They're outside the 50.
So, that's the only, but, I mean, I always take a second look. So I'm not big on cut trees up.
No, where it's outside the 50, it's kind of a dense area, it may actually make for some better habitat with that.
No, I agree.
I have no questions.
Motion?
So close the hearing and issue a -3 with the conditions that I recommended.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. All set, thank you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. So I'll issue the permit, if not this week, early next.
Okay.
And then we'll just arrange and meet with you and your contractor.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
thank you.
Just, so you know, make sure that you cut
Yeah.
just the trees you say you are, because we've had people apply for 3 trees.
Yeah.
And 20 trees later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just hire a good guy this week.
Yeah. Well,
Hi-
they told me to come here first.
No, no,
Oh,
hire.
that's good.
All we're saying is hire a pro, you know what you're doing.
No, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Next one is 679 South Bradford Street.
Not that guy from New Hampshire.
He cleared the town.
Those chainsaws can get away from you real fast.
They do, they move
Ride
around,
on their own.
they move all around awfully.
I would say that guy's probably got a room in Concord by now.
Rockingham.
Rocking here.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so, RDA for 679 South Bradford. We have a representative of Downer Brothers with us this evening, the landscape architect. And I'll just give you a brief rundown. Okay. So there's wetlands on either side of the house, one in the backyard and one across the street. Both contain vernal pools, bordering vegetated wetlands with vernal pools. The project involves fence installation at the rear, at the edge of the existing lawn, and the majority of the fence would be within the 75-foot no-build and a good portion within the 50-foot no-disturb. The bottom of the fence will have 6-inch clearance to allow for small wildlife movement. And at the front of the house, the existing landscape foundation bed will be replanted with new ornamentals and mulch. Many of the existing foundation plants will be removed. 4 trees have been identified as hazardous and will also be removed. Proposed trees are within the 50 no disturb zone. The applicant provided photos. Let's see, if stockpiling is needed, they have proposed an area in the driveway that is outside of the 75. Let's see. And so I think the question is, you know, they have submitted a request for a waiver for the fence to be within the 50-foot no disturb zone. So that's something the commission should discuss. But if there's questions for Angie or me, you can go ahead.
Tony?
Fences with inside the existing disturbed area, right?
Yes, it's right at the edge of the lawn. And then no gate along the back side, gates on the front, but, you know, keep the dog and the kid in there and out of the back.
And the edge of, just for Amy, the edge of disturbance on this plan, similar to what was on the approved plan for the order of conditions?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I know you tried to
It's an old
find,
one.
we tried to find the old one, and I don't think we could put our hands, she could put her
I
hands
mean-
on it, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Homeowner moved in last year, existing, you know,
So-
just right at the existing lawn, no grading, yeah.
all right, no, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's between where lawn is and the wetland, it's very densely vegetated
Alright.
with, you know, sweet pepper bush and trees and shrubs and so.
I'm fine.
Al?
So, I'm just reading this now, I don't see an alternatives analysis on this.
We have the waiver request worksheet.
You consider that to be an alternatives analysis?
No, but, well, it does ask for it.
I mean, there's two waivers being asked for.
So the waiver for the fence. Right? Waiver for the fence. And what was the other one?
True.
And tree removal. I mean, the commission may need a more robust alternatives analysis. If that's,
So am I seeing it right, the scope of work is tree removal and a fence? Is that-
And replanting the front foundation beds.
Say it again?
And replanting the front foundation beds.
Okay.
No moving of bed lines. It's within,
So, I'm just struggling with the vernal pool setbacks.
okay.
That's, we get a lot of requests for waivers from vernal pool setbacks, and it really needs to be considered carefully.
No, and so one of the things that, I worked with the homeowners is trying to, everything staying within the existing maintained lawn. That's where the fence is gonna be. The idea is to they have a large dog and keep their kid in the lawn, out of the back where there are vernal pools. No fence, no gate access to the back. Fence install will take about a day. It'll be hand dug. The diggings are gonna go directly into wheelbarrow, be taken out. The idea is that there will be same thing with the planting. It'll be one day of planting. The idea is to have no material stockpiled, no grading. And then the trees that were identified, Noble Tree came out and did an assessment of trees that were close to the house that were in failing condition. Open to discussion of how they are removed, but the plan is to obviously leave the stumps intact and then minimize disturbance to the ground as well as surrounding vegetation as much as possible. The other consideration is keeping the fence. It'll be have that 6-inch clearance below. There did some research. There's a wetland manual that was completed by Berkshire Regional Planning Commission for the Mass DEP. There was an example given in there that it was around a lake and they were keeping geese out and they let a 6-inch wildlife passage underneath for amphibians and turtles. And it seemed to be successful, so that's kind of what we used as a basis for that. So we're really just trying to give them a safe enclosed back lawn and spruce up the front foundation.
What was the year of our bylaw?
Sorry?
What was the year of the vernal pool bylaw?
I don't know.
I'm sorry?
The year of the vernal pool bylaw, the no-build zones?
You want to know what year we
90s?
adopted that?
In the 90s?
90s, so that's kind of what I was just looking at, was the original order was 92. Because that was kind of what I was thinking at looking at. I don't want to take away something that was previously permitted before the bylaw that's kind of being used. So if that was kind of the justification as to where they came up with the line. Because I mean, the house is in the 75-foot no
Yeah, it probably wasn't recognized as a vernal pool back then.
Oh, that's,
What year do we say it was?
I'm sure it
When
wasn't.
the house was built, I mean?
93.
yeah, certificate of compliance in 93.
93. So I don't think we had the vernal pool setbacks that we have now in 93, because I
I
came on
want
the
to say it was
commission.
96, but I could be wrong.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you there because I came on the commission in 1990, and the setbacks back there were the same as BVW. There was no distinction. I can't tell you the year they got adopted, but I can tell you they weren't in effect when I first came on. Which is... Go by
Okay,
here.
I'm gonna pull up, this is not the as-built,
Yeah.
but this is the plan of land, and the subject lot is 23A.
So they were right up to the 25. roughly. Seems pretty consistent.
You gotta be careful with these. We're seeing 2 or 3 a week,
No, that's,
and we're gonna establish, unknowingly, we're gonna establish a pattern that's gonna contradict our bylaw. That's my concern. I understand that the steps being taken, I understand the spacing. Everything you're doing is not lost on me. Everything you're asking for is not lost on me. I'm just struggling with not setting a precedent we can't get back from. Do you mind, go by me, I'm gonna pause, go by me.
All right, all the trees that are gonna be cut, they're all from the in the front, right?
No, they're in the back.
In the back.
Oh, they're in the back? Okay.
One of them is like in the middle of the lawn, and it's pretty much a goner.
That's the one that's,
Yeah, I
The
mean,
biggest
that's,
concern.
that's not going to, it's not long for the world. And the
Okay.
others are, you
Because
know,
I thought the planting plan was in the front.
plantings in the front, tree removals in the back.
Okay. So this says the front, so that where it says X,
oh, that's existing, existing plantings.
Oh,
At
okay.
the
That are
front that are gonna be removed.
Yeah.
so
Oh,
the-
yeah, those are being retained. There's a few evergreens that are being retained.
so you've seen the trees, Amy?
Yeah,
So they are a
I
hazard?
mean, they do lean into backyard.
Because they're not on the plan, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I am in agreement with Al. One thing that since I've been on here, we've tried to be consistent. So if we start wiggling around, we could, like you say, create a monster. Then now all of a sudden, instead of just ruling on the bylaw, we're ruling on individuals, and we could get out of control.
I'm wondering out loud if the fence could actually be considered a protective feature.
Well, that was my thought.
it's gonna stop people from dumping leaves and grass.
So so that is one of the considerations that actually the homeowners have. They have a large dog and they're trying to contain him and keep him out of the back.
Yeah.
And that was one of their considerations as well. And I encouraged them to, no gate in the back, only along the front, just to kind of keep, limit access to the back.
Yeah.
They just, they're just trying to enclose their backyard, their existing lawn.
I'm just trying to figure a way to
Yeah, to word it.
make it past the state test.
Yeah, I know.
If they post it in the
Is
Yeah, I
it-
mean, I'm thinking if the fence is a protective feature, it becomes like
Barrier.
it's a barrier with markers.
Yeah.
Is it in the right location? Could it protect more? I guess those are the things I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, if we're gonna use it as a protective thing, I really don't wanna shrink their backyard any more than it is.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty tight.
Okay.
To be truthful, as much as I don't like to say this, I am kinda comfortable where it's set up because it is protecting the vernal pool with the fence. And what kind of fence is it gonna be? Chain link?
No, I think they're gonna do, black aluminum, so, like pickets.
rail.
So think like pool fence kind of thing, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
just keep the bottom raised a little higher than typical, and then you'll have about 4 inches in between
Okay,
to, again, keep passage as much as possible.
all right, thank you. Ryan?
Yeah, I guess, did you say 4 inches or is it 6 inches? For
At the
down
bottom?
The bottom?
6 inches.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to clarify that. I don't have a problem with the fence at all. I agree with what everybody has said. I think it's, will actually be beneficial. The tree removal, though, because a waiver is being requested, if I read the bylaw correctly, there has to be a net benefit to the resource area or to the habitat. Is that correct? Sorry, I'm new.
Yeah,
so I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, even though wildlife passage isn't going to be an issue with the tree removal, it does provide habitat benefits, especially because it's within 100 feet of the vernal pool.
Yep.
So, my take is some form of mitigation is needed for the tree removal, whether it's plantings or, you know, I would like to see personally the portions of the trees that are removed left as large woody debris as well, for habitat.
So do you mean like on the other side of the fence?
Yeah, nothing within
Okay.
the fence.
Yeah, the one of, so if you, do you mind scrolling
No,
up to,
yeah.
tree one, please, Amy? The one in the, so this one in the middle, tree one is definitely the one that's in most serious decline, closest to the house. That one I think would need to be flush cut and that one's inside the lawn, so I'm not sure, you know, what you would propose for that. The other 2 trees, or 3 trees, they're along, they would be outside the fence. If there was something that you wanted to be left there, I think, you know, we could work something out with that. Or even potentially scale back the number of trees. Number 1's pretty crucial, the other ones,
Yeah,
Could
and
be.
I don't have a problem with the tree removal itself. It's just the compensation
Yeah.
for the impacts.
So if there was planting and compensation, where would you envision that be?
That's a good question.
Just because of where we are with
We're
the.
tight.
Mhm.
I would say in the same location that it's removed.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
So you're just looking for
like kind,
3-foot lengths kind of left behind.
Yeah, and maybe some plantings as well. I think we need something to check the box.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a net benefit, so. But, yeah, I think leaving some sections as large woody debris and, you know, maybe a couple plantings, for me would suffice.
Something kind of very
What's that? Sorry.
something like a hybrid blueberry or.
Yeah, something like
So there's
that.
some benefit to the.
Yeah, exactly, yep. Like I said, we just need, like, have to provide some form of compensation, I think. So that's all I have.
Okay, well, can we do that in-house with Amy agreeing to the planting plan and we can approve the project? Amy?
If you'd like.
Would
I
you
mean,
be?
I'm okay with doing that.
It would just be, it wouldn't be much.
No,
yeah, and
I hate to continue it for 2 weeks.
I mean, I think it could be conditioned.
Yeah, we just changed the first one, pre-construction inspection to review permit conditions and proposed mitigated planting.
Yep, yep.
With
So-
nature.
Yeah, yep,
Then we're not going over our 3 conditions either.
Yeah.
works for me.
And you do know they're just gonna be stumped, they're clear
Yes,
cut, no
correct.
stumping or
Yeah,
grinding.
not even
or-
grinding, just flush cut
oh, flush cut, yeah,
or
yeah.
even, I mean, even not cut the whole thing.
Yeah, behind the fence.
Behind the fence could be, I mean,
We could leave something for habitat.
Can leave a
Sticking out.
six,
Still stop
six,
sprouting
I mean, if-
too, you get
well,
some
that's
low
true.
line.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you could do a 6-foot cut or something?
right. And that would leave something behind for habitat. That
Yeah.
What
could
are you hoping to do, create snags?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I guess. How close are the trees to, are they within the 50, the trees? Or are they outside?
Yeah.
the trees would be
Yeah, it looks like they're
glasses
about,
on. They're in the 50.
They're within the 50.
Mhm.
I suppose they could serve as snags in the 50, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
They're right on the lawn edge.
they're right on the
Yeah.
lawn edge.
Is one a shagbark hickory? I said it was a hickory, right? Is that true? Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was the last one.
Just trying to figure out if they'd have benefit, wildlife benefit, as snags can.
Yep.
It's probably a good idea too.
All right, so you want to leave like a 6-foot stump?
Yeah, maybe we leave,
What do you recommend, a 6-foot cut?
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we leave us one standing snag, maybe put some other large woody debris on the ground, maybe a little bit into the woods, so they don't have to actually look at a bunch of,
Yeah.
dead
Yeah,
logs.
It
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
take much to get it back there with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
vegetation.
then maybe a
fence.
couple shrubs or something, like, just sort of a suite
Okay.
of options, I guess. Well,
Right.
not options, but.
Yeah,
So Amy, you know what we want,
yeah,
so.
yeah. It's
Right.
on tape, I can review it again and again.
You like trying them out.
I never thought I'd be on YouTube.
I know, right?
All right, so we can approve this pending. Approve
Yeah, I
this?
guess you could vote to approve the waiver based on the conditions that you guys are setting on the project, requiring, the habitat snags and woody debris and replanting, native shrubs.
We're really, what we're doing is we're approving it, considering it as an enhancement project.
Right,
Because otherwise, it's a notice,
right,
simply because of the waivers.
right.
Yeah, the fence would be beneficial too, right? I mean,
So
And
so
the fence
in order
has
to
barrier.
keep this from becoming a notice and keep
Yeah.
it where it is, it needs to really be a wildlife enhancement project.
Yep.
That's the way I understand, based on those courses that we take,
yeah.
if they teach us the truth.
Yeah, well, we're ending.
It's a wildlife
I
enhancement
think
project.
we're ending with a net benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we have to approach it that way in the permitting process,
Right,
I think.
Yeah, I agree. Otherwise it sets a,
Otherwise,
dangerous
we're
precedent.
We don't want to go there.
So,
Right, like you were saying.
yeah, I guess.
We don't want to trigger a
To keep it
notice.
on record, it's no closer than the previously approved work or
Right.
proposed work.
Yep.
yeah,
They're maintaining an existing edge between the protected resource buffer and the existing yard to
Yep.
maintain separation. There's no access points. And then there's the added wildlife benefits.
And you're emphasizing the protective barrier and the housing for critters, the tree snags, et cetera.
right. Yep,
All right,
That way we can make it pass the test.
yes.
so we have to vote on the waiver anyways.
So how is it, whatever we're voting on, I'll move.
So I think the commission would vote to grant the waiver for the tree removal and the fence, because the fence provides a barrier with no access to the back, maintains the previously approved limit of work from when the house was built, the required mitigation for the tree removal, including leaving snags, placing woody debris back into the wetland, and requiring plantings, would end up leaving a net benefit to the wetland.
And noting that it was determined that the trees were in
And,
poor or failing
Yep.
health.
yes,
Yeah, because that's
Yes.
like you were saying, that's one of the
Yeah.
requirements, right?
Right.
Has to be one of those.
that's right.
Okay.
And then, so that's one motion to approve the waiver.
All right, we have a motion by Al.
Motion to approve the waiver as described.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Okay. So then the second vote would be to close the hearing and issue a -3 with the conditions as discussed. So, Angie, one of our conditions is gonna be that any soil amendments imported to the site shall be obtained from a responsible source to avoid introducing the Asiatic jumping worm. I don't know
Okay.
if you've heard of that.
Yep.
Plants shall also be plants imported will be visually inspected for worms and if found, removed and terminated, and the mulch shall be natural, free of any dyes. If worms are encountered, the landscaper applicant shall inform the conservation department.
Okay.
And then, pre-construction, post-construction with the approval of the planting plan.
And you'll help me, we can talk
With-
number of plantings?
Yes.
In the,
Yep.
as mitigation
Yep.
or as the enhancement
Yep.
project, okay.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Okay, we're all set.
Thank you.
Do you want to raise them?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
The next one, the Beechwood one, I thought we were gonna continue that one.
Yes, there's no one here for that. so
Okay.
We are going to continue because there's still
Motion.
outstanding.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. COC, 242-1535, 2005 Salem Street, request to continue to August 10th.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is 242-115-147 Johnny Cake Street. I thought it was Johnny Cake Lane.
I think it's straight. All right.
I think it's road.
How about Boulevard?
All righty. I don't believe anyone's here to represent this. Johnny Cake? Okay. All right, so this is a request for a partial COC for 147 Johnny Cake Road, Street, whatever you want to call it, subdivision lot number 13. Commission may recall, this is an old order issued in 1982. Two orders were issued because it was appealed to DEP. So there was a state order and a local bylaw order, and they mirrored each other exactly. And this was about 57 lots or so. I was not able to locate the approved plan set, and no individual lot plans were available or found for lot 13. Special condition 18C, lot 13 is listed among other lots for which development was allowed to proceed under this order and the approved plan set, as long as there was no alteration that occurred within 25 foot of the wetland. So based on my site inspection and aerial GIS, the 25 is intact, naturally vegetated. I reviewed the file, and I found that other lots in the subdivision have received partial certificates without as-bills, and some of these properties do have wetlands. So
How long ago did we do that?
That's what I said.
I'm more interested in hearing the year so I can figure out who the administrator was at the time. To see if they ever came in front of us or not.
oh, no, they're signed by the commission,
They are?
yeah.
Bottom shelf in the file cabinet, there's a whole stack.
Those must have been the plans that put on 125.
Without going into detail, there was some shady business.
That was the OK Corral days. You have any questions, Tony?
No, 1982, I was 6, so.
What year?
1982 was when the original order was issued.
Right.
So there was no bylaw in 1982.
Well, I think,
We had no bylaw then in 82.
no?
I don't think this house was built in 82. Johnny Cake?
I don't think Johnny Cake was built in 82 though. but-
No, I don't think so
So this is
either.
the open order of conditions was, but according to the attorney, so it goes back to
1982?
1982.
No,
There may have been a subdivision plan
Yeah.
back then.
I would say more like 92, but,
Yeah, or later.
because
But I'll bet you the subdivision plan went through in the 80s. All right,
Okay.
so what are you looking for? I'm not gonna
Well,
torture
no.
you. I'm not gonna punish you. What do you need?
Not pushing me. I mean, based on what has gone on in this file,
You want a partial certificate of compliance?
yeah.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Me.
Okay.
Because
3-1.
I just have an issue with issuing PCOCs or COCs without as-bills. But it is what it is. It's back in the old days, they got whatever they wanted to do.
We also don't have the records.
Right.
Yeah, but if we have an as-bill, at least we have something moving forward.
Yeah. Anything goes
With-
forward, we'll get a
with-
record drawing going.
With nothing, it's just gonna keep, the ball keeps rolling.
When they wanna put an addition on when the new owner wants to put an addition on the house, we'll get an NOI, we'll get a full record drawing.
Yeah,
All right.
okay. Enforcement order, 40 Candlestick Road.
Alrighty.
Oh, my.
Alrighty. So the commission, so we have Rich Mather with us, the homeowner. The commission will recall issuing an enforcement order in April of this year for unauthorized reconstruction of retaining walls, construction of patios, piling of stone on a sloped area leading to BBW. The commission required that the wetland be delineated and an existing conditions plan be prepared, and gave deadlines. All of those deadlines were met. So we have the existing conditions plan prepared by John Moran Cameron. I asked that he add the previously approved limit of work from the old order onto that plan, and it's the blue dashed line. So the next step is submission of a notice of intent. Mr. Mather has engaged Julie Von Drack to do that work. She, I let Julie and Rich know that I thought you guys really wanted to see the existing conditions plan to kind of get a feel for what would be approved and what wouldn't. If there's something that gives you real big time heartburn on this plan, I think we should talk about it so they don't waste their time trying to seek waivers. There is an email from Julie attached to your packet. I'm going to pull up the as-built plan just to give you a feel. Not the greatest as-built plan, but. So, there was, at that time, there was a reduction to the 50 for this property. And in Julie's opinion, it seems as though the existing landscape wall is still there, and the homeowner was really just piling more rocks on top of it, so that maybe had pushed it out. So let me pull up
So,
So this,
Don't-
yeah, I kind of remember this one. I'm a little torn on it because I do think they're very close to the approved limit of work, but there's been a substantial amount of work inside that jurisdictional area beyond the approved limit of work.
Yep.
But a lot of that work may have been permittable. So, I mean, I don't see a proposal in front of us, it's just to keep what's there, is that the,
Yeah.
and I think getting, in line with other projects, there'd probably have to be some sort of mitigation or,
There isn't much to mitigate here.
well, the right side of the house looks like there's some areas that might be of
Yeah.
some benefit. That, you know, if there's some give and take, I think, like I said, I think I was in the minority the last time too, so it's kind of a tough one on me, but I'd be open to listening to proposals.
So this picture's kind of telling. So you can see in the foreground, that really does look like the old wall.
Yeah.
And then the new stuff in the background is, actually, it seems as though it's starting at the toe of all that slope, so.
And I don't know the
And-
history,
and-
looking at the foundation, it doesn't look like he raised the backyard much,
No.
or, you know, so,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so either.
is the slope, you've been out there, the slope stable, it's not like eroding or moving?
No, it's stable, it's rock, you know, it's rock.
Looks like,
Yeah.
looks like rip.
Riprap, yeah, no,
Riprap.
that's.
Well, that trap
so-
rocket ain't
So
going
again, that's
anywhere.
kind of, it's not something that we, if it was asked of us originally, that we would have
Yeah.
said no. So that's kind of my feeling on it. It's a tough line, not wanting to set precedent, but recognizing that.
How was this ever approved? Look, that's-
Well, let me ask, if I, just
Yeah,
so I
no,
can
that's-
get, Amy, is he under a cease and desist order right now?
Yes,
Okay,
yep,
and it's stable right now?
yes.
And you have asked him to submit an NOI by August 27th.
Commission did, yes.
That's, in my opinion, that's the right direction, that's where we should be going.
Yes.
Submit the NOI, tell us what you want to do, we'll tell you what's approvable, we'll tell you what's not approvable.
Okay.
You're under a cease and desist now anyway.
Right.
So, I would, if it were me in your seat, I would just take the time to design the best plan I can with my wetland scientist, with the expert that you've hired. You hired Julie.
Yep.
I would sit down with Julie, tell her what you want. She'll
Yeah.
tell you what's approvable, what's not approvable, she knows. And, get the NOI filed.
Yeah, no, and I thank you for saying it better than I was saying. I think, you know, but keep in mind some sort of give back
Yeah,
if you could.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we would look favorable upon some,
Some mitigation, yes,
Yeah.
some mitigation.
just so you don't come back with the plan and then have to keep going.
Yeah, I just recently got associated with Julie, so
Yeah.
a little late, you know, well, not late to the game. So we're just getting started.
Yep.
So she did send an email today
Yeah.
with some ideas, but I think we're gonna meet next week to sort of really start to take a serious look where we're looking at together.
She's been in front of this commission before,
Okay,
so she knows pretty much what we will approve and what we won't.
okay.
So she can give you a pretty accurate picture of what you're likely to get approved, and I wouldn't waste my time chasing something that's not approved.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, Julie
Yeah.
agrees that there's room for enhancement in the 25. There's
So,
some
yeah.
bare areas and.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be
Yeah,
done, but I think he
so-
can also at the same time probably get close to what he wanted and still give us the
Yeah.
enhancements.
Right.
I think there's a lot of room here to fix it up.
Yeah. Brian, you have any questions?
So,
Sorry.
Just the paver patio, is that gonna allow water to infiltrate, to go through it?
Yeah, I mean, I was, she had mentioned something, I forgot what the word she used, but it would allow the water,
Oh,
what
pervious.
goes between the bricks.
Yep,
The
pervious pavers.
joints would be larger and
Yeah.
some sort of a gravelly type material.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
That's all I have.
hold on, I just want to make sure we know what. So we're asking them to submit a notice of intent no later than August 27th, 2022.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right, and, so what's
So
the date?
we'll take no action on
So
this?
it's a month away. Well, actually, it's less than a month because of the deadline.
Well, he's already having communication with Julie, so.
Well, they've
Yeah,
already,
actually, no, never mind. Just submitting it on the 27th,
All right,
we
that's,
just,
regardless of
whether she gets on the hearing,
They can,
yes.
he can submit it, he can submit it
Doesn't
sooner.
matter.
You can submit the thing sooner if it's ready.
Yeah, I think she expressed concerns of her loading, that she's heavily loaded,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
trying to take on more work, so.
Understood, understood.
Well, I guess just make the best progress
Yeah, do the best you can, we'll
Yeah.
work with.
And we'll talk to you again on the 27th, and if you need an
Okay.
extension, and with, I know Julie, she's gonna do her best to get it done, so.
Great.
Just be patient.
You're in
Don't-
better
Don't do anything
hands.
stupid out there in the meantime.
Stay out of the backyard.
I'm just playing in my veggie garden right
Just cut the lawn in the front.
That sounds good, that sounds good, thank you.
now. Cut the straw, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
right,
Thank-
exactly.
thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming. So we'll continue,
Till the 28th,
yeah,
August.
or the,
Is that what it is?
September.
No, I mean, do we have to continue it to, we're telling them to come in on or before the 27th, right?
The 27th.
Well, we,
And they're under a cease and desist, why do we need to see them before then?
no, we don't.
That's what I said.
It won't
Is
be,
that what you said?
Continue to August 28th, or whatever,
we don't
August,
have-
whatever.
we
it
don't
is.
Sorry,
have
this year's doesn't work.
we don't have a meeting in, hold on.
Well, there's really no continuance. I believe it's just they now have to submit per the enforcement order a notice of intent by the 27th.
That's right.
Yeah,
Or come in and request an extension.
There you go,
there you go.
Okay.
All right,
there it is, you've done this before.
Once or twice.
All right,
once or
never-
twice.
All right, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in.
Thanks.
All right, so we're good there.
All righty.
All right. Next one is 242-1799. Do I have this one?
I don't have that one.
I don't have that one.
1055 Salem?
You didn't give
No,
us.
you have Great Pond
You have
Road,
243 Great Pond Road on there.
that's the Koi Pond
Oh,
Road, right?
okay, yeah. So they're in the midst of, just getting the area ready to be plantable. So they're making progress that way, but they're in compliance.
Okay,
So,
okay.
So
I
we'll
mean, I'm just-
continue them till the next meeting?
So
We're gonna continue them till the next meeting?
I would say the 14th of September.
So
Because
moved.
Second.
I wouldn't want them to be planting now anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
in this middle of the drought, so.
What droughts?
So
love
the
this.
14th.
I love droughts, I'm a hay farmer.
I know.
All right, so we're gonna continue to September
14th.
14th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Nice.
Next one is 242-1581, 1055 Salem Street.
Hello. Hi, good, how are you? So the commission will recall issuing an enforcement order requiring that restoration plan be submitted. Mr. Bonilla was at the last meeting with a preliminary plan and has now submitted a more defined, refined proposal. And let's see, he did utilize the as-built plan to show, where plantings will go. Versus upside down, but you have it in your packets. So I'll hand it.
Hi, thanks for seeing me again. Great to see you, Tony. Again, here back for the Rodriguez family at 1055 Salem Street. As Amy mentioned, I finalized a little bit more of a robust narrative with some background, some historical context, some our approach and our goal for the restoration of the no disturbance area, specifically to provide a better wildlife habitat in the form of nesting, cover, aesthetics, feeding habitat, that kind of thing. Sort of try to increase the food web there, the dynamic between some of the critters in that backyard, because there's this intermittent stream, so I'm sure there's some migration of critters back and forth. I did include a couple test pit photographs for you, Ryan, because you asked about the
Depleted
profiles
matrix.
of the uplands as opposed to the wetland, the BBW area. So, it was pretty well defined. I didn't go through the exercise of trying to reestablish a wetland boundary because, as you know, we're working on an as-built that's got to an approved wetland line with order. So really, there's no battle here. So that's the idea. We originally talked about 15 feet on center, but I wanted to keep it a little heftier. So I went with 2 of each tree, 2 of each shrub species. The Rodriguez's, they will take out the stumps if you'd like. I noted that we take them out. If you want them in there spread about for wildlife habitat structure, we could do that as well. But I'm sure they'd be happy taking them out and using it as firewood. I think it's an old ash tree from either from their site or from one of Jose's other sites. I'm not sure. But what happened, I think, is from them moving around those stumps in the NDZ and in throughout the interface of the BVW, that deposited some sands because there was no evidence of excavation. There was a little bit of deposition. I put a red arrow in that third photo, I think, where I think that occurred. So we'll scarify that. We'll scarify any other bare areas. So wetland seed mix in the wetland area, and then scarify the 760 foot square feet in the NDZ. Provide a nice growing medium for that wildlife conservation seed mix. Complemented by the shrubs. I think we'll leave it better than it was before they bought the home, etc. The one thing I did not put in there is, and we discussed this the other day, Ivania and myself, is they swear that opening in the stone wall that demarcates the 25 foot, they swear it was open. So. I think Tony gets or Jose gets the idea that they're not going back there again once they're doing the placards are even on the stone wall too. It's something they probably just didn't see or understand for that matter because, if somebody doesn't know about wetlands and buffers, how are they going to sort of put 2 and 2 together? But they swear it was open when they bought the home. So I think that's something I didn't include in my breakdown. They'll remove the clippings. They'll discontinue clippings being tossed in the NDZ. They will discontinue mowing and/or maintenance activities in the NDZ. It'll look much nicer than it does now and when it was before, I'm sure.
Thank you. Tony, questions?
No, I guess other than, what do you think it would take them for a timeline to
do it, we discussed this last week, and you mentioned it right now. It's just not a good time to plant anything right now. I suggest that I've always in the past, fall plantings are pretty successful. Establish roots, go into dormancy, and then, high noon in April, or March, April, they should take. And I've indicated I can go back. Well, I can be there on site when they implement the activities in the fall, and then I can give it a year. I'll go back and I'll do a monitoring event, and I'll report the findings of that, and I'll also recommend any remedial measures to them and in the report to bring it into compliance, or not compliance, but the typical goal for these kind of areas, 75% survivability of planted species. I'm sure the seed mix will do great, especially if we have irrigation in the fall, or precipitation in the fall.
Yeah.
And they'll remove the Bradford pears. Nobody likes nobody likes, anybody with any kind of, wetland buffer knowledge doesn't like non-native fruit trees, so they'll take those out. One of them's dead already.
Thank you.
Sure.
Cal?
I'm good. I like your restoration plan. I like the recommendations. No questions.
Thank you.
I mean, it's grown in already. The stumps, I think we should get rid of them, but this habitat's not gonna go on them things, are they?
What's up?
The stumps?
Yeah.
Or you would just let it?
They're big, so you might want them out. They're big. They're not like coarse woody. Typically, I see coarse woody debris. There is that one little brush pile. I think we should leave it because I was there again Monday, and there were chipmunks and all kinds of critters going in and out, birds going in there, cover. So we can either do one of two things: remove it altogether, or break it apart and leave a couple. I prescribe that kind of stuff in buffer restoration plans all the time.
How big?
I would say leave the brush pile and maybe take some chunks of the stumps and throw them around.
leave the pile, take the stumps.
What do they want to do with the stumps? They want to get
Well,
rid of
they would use them, if they can cut them up and make firewood. I mean, it's nice hardwood ash.
All right,
so-
let them do that.
Yeah.
Because they are
That's
big,
fine.
but,
Yeah,
yeah.
if they,
I
they
just
want
see him,
them,
I just see him
I
go.
mean,
can take 'em out, no
my
problem.
humble opinion is whatever they want to do with the stumps is fine with me.
Yeah, okay. They are pretty big, so they're
They
not
are
against
pretty
taking them out at
So
all.
you gotta get a really big guy out there with them.
And he will take out the bucket for
The
the girls.
bucket.
Yeah, obviously, that's right in the NDZ.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of landscapers that would love that bucket.
oh, that's not his bucket?
It is. He's
All
got a
right,
little
that's-
bobcat. I mean, I don't know who the whistleblower was. I think it was the neighbor to the south.
So
You guys would know, so maybe they saw.
If they find somebody that wants to remove that bucket for them, I'm sure we would allow it. I'm sure we would allow it.
Well, it's his, so he's
He may want to sell it, or he may want to buy something that hooks up to it.
Okay.
And not using our property.
How big is the opening in the wall?
4 feet, maybe enough to get that bobcat through
Yeah.
it. It got through, so, you know.
So it's more than 4 feet. It's probably 6.
I don't have any doubt that wall was open. No doubt at all.
Well, do we want them to close it?
No.
Okay.
Does it matter? I don't think it matters that much.
I don't think it should, I mean, they get the idea.
I mean, whether
Or
it's open
maybe
or-
stick a post in the middle
Yeah,
of it.
or put some plackets
Something.
right at the end.
Maybe put a placard in there.
If you wanted to put a marker, yeah, if you wanted to have a marker put
One
there.
post in the middle of the opening.
But I mean,
No, because not to stay discussion on forever. The next person might come in and drive right through there.
That's true. If you restrict it to something less than a bobcat with, the chances of
Where
a
is the-
bobcat going through it.
where is the opening in the wall?
It's on the,
Is it on the
the
25?
southeasterly portion.
In the very end?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
or is it?
It's on the, I think it's the southerly end of the wall.
Suddenly in the wall.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, but again, it was either the neighbors to the south or to the north with the whistleblowers that, so maybe, I don't know, but,
Well,
yeah, you
I-
can see the
Yeah.
opening. It's been there for a while. That's a
Yeah.
2019 photo, I think. I don't know.
2020, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the
I have no
tail
doubt.
end of it,
I have
basically.
no doubt that was open.
Yeah,
No doubt-
I don't either.
No doubt at all.
I didn't see any recent, I mean, you'd see a pile of stones
Stones,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't see that either.
I live.
And that's another thing. Those stones were there. I'd say put them in there and make boulder piles for
Yeah.
more habitat structure. But
Well,
Yeah.
then,
they're not there.
Yeah, no
Well, I
doubt.
think
Get
we
a-
should at least put a post
couple of-
with a placket in there or something.
Off to the side, you know.
Well, I would, I
There may
would,
be, there may be a legitimate reason to access through there at some point. There's no reason to close it up.
okay.
Just saying.
All right. Well, you can
Of course,
decide.
I'll go along with whatever you guys think is best. It's just,
well, I don't think we'll ever need machinery back there,
okay.
so
Is that wall on the 25?
just
It's essentially the 25.
Yeah,
It's
it
about
is.
directly upgrading according
Yeah.
to the plan of the 25 NEZ.
Yep,
And that's
So-
kind of weird that that's something that you guys
Well-
condition and not you.
oh, yeah,
The-
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
They
Because
want
it's
to
consistent
go-
with the people up
they
to the
want
north.
those walls.
Yeah, because I thought we required the
This-
wall. It does,
We-
2 houses.
That wall was required when that house was built.
Yep, yeah,
So if we had an as-built of when the house was built, we would
Yes.
know where
That's
the
it.
wall.
yes, we
So
do.
it's showing a gap right here.
So, all right,
It's always
So
up
if that's
there.
the as-built plan that you used, there's a gap between the property line and the,
I don't
What's
have
the
any-
date on that
have any
plan?
doubt.
I don't know, that's,
That was just, actually, I just screenshot, I took a little screenshot from the actual plan that you provided or that Taylor provided.
This house is not that old.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
yeah, it's the Killer Bees house.
This was Killabee's, yes.
Yes.
That came up last week.
Just for
That
the-
came up last week.
Just for the record, the Killabee's name was Halloran. It was Mr. Halloran, nice guy.
I thought it was Bodge's.
Bodge was to the left. If you're looking.
Oh, Halloran.
Halloran was to the right,
Yeah.
and Killabee's, Bodge was to the left.
Yeah,
My son's across the street,
yes.
and I'm 2 clicks down Foster. We all live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
I bought a truck, I bought his truck that used to drive for Jimmy.
I drove by that Foster site the other day with all the booms.
Oh.
And I texted, I was like, Patrick, is this your site?
Yeah, yeah,
So Patrick's working on it, he said.
yeah.
All right, Ryan?
I'm okay with leaving the brush pile, removing the logs that are out there, and leaving the wall as is.
Okay.
And, Mr. Chairman, what do we want, I see a recommendation for completion of restoration May 2023. That sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah,
But you're gonna try to plant.
Planting in the fall report, planting in the fall implementation report, and then another report, 2013.
But if we do give them the option of finishing it in the spring, if these conditions continue,
We'll give you more time than you need.
Yeah, that would give you
always come back
some
and get
some
verbal or
flexibility.
something from Amy
Yeah.
and Taylor, yeah.
I just have one more comment. How come you bring the applicant? I like watching people with
They're
deer in the
sick,
headlights.
they're sick today.
They
She
are.
called me today, she's like, I'm not feeling good.
The poor people.
The whole family
They
came out.
didn't- They thought we were
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
put them
Very
on the
well
rack.
represented, yeah.
So, Amy, what do you need? You need a motion on?
Yeah, to amend the enforcement order,
Yeah.
to approve the proposed restoration plan.
Yeah.
Let's see. Take out the stumps, leave the brush pile, put a post in the middle of that gap in the wall. A deadline of May 30th,
So we've got the stumps. They can
2023.
either take out the stumps or they can destroy them on site.
Yeah,
So they may want to chop them into firewood.
yeah, or just take them out of the,
So we'll
take them out of the restoration area. And they can use them as firewood if they want,
so
right?
anything, as long as they're not in the 25,
Right.
Right,
and they can go in and chop them up and make firewood,
okay.
which is going to be no small task.
Right.
That stuff is rugged.
Let's see.
So what?
And then deadline of May 30th, 2023. Require that the wetland consultant supervise the preparation, seeding, and planting, and report on same to the NACC, and then require, you had one growing season in there?
Yeah. So
growing
you want the
season.
plantings, you want the plantings done no later than May of next year?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I think they want to do it this fall.
Well,
Well,
they
you
can,
can-
Yeah,
but,
okay.
You
But
can,
you'll
I
need
mean,
me to
you can do it
sometimes-
tomorrow if you want,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you got,
okay.
you got you're on
Sooner
resident.
is better.
I mean, we can make it sooner if you
No,
want.
no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we want it done tomorrow.
We're trying to be helpful here.
Yeah, thank you.
so, yeah, I just, sometimes
So
nurseries
moved
don't
to
have.
all.
All right, and then, report, yeah,
Good?
for monitoring for 75% overall survivorship.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank
For
you.
your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Next one, 40 flagship, there's nothing to say.
Nothing to say?
Next one is Foster Street, Hilton Oil, nothing to say.
Okay.
General business, 242-1707, request an extension on 285 Stevens Street.
Alrighty, so this order was issued in August of 2017, and it governed the construction of a new single-family house, garage, driveway, utilities, site grading, drainage, landscaping, and buffer zone restoration with a dried stone wall, field stone wall. The order was extended in July of '21. They're asking for another extension. The chair, vice chair, and I visited the site this afternoon with the project engineer and the developer and the homeowner and their entourage. So they have an encroachment into the 50-foot no-build with a corner of the house. So they need time to come before the commission to present that problem and to propose some resolution to the problem. But I think granting the extension makes a lot of sense because there may be some work that needs to be done to fix the problem. And John Warren's here. He is the project engineer, and he's done the as-built.
I think we should have John talk of what we did today.
Yeah, good evening. For the record, John Moran from the Moran Cameron Group. We're here tonight representing Compass Properties, Inc. for a request to extend the existing order of conditions for this property As Amy had said, the order was issued back in August of 2017. We got an extension from the commission a year ago. We have not taken advantage of the COVID extension yet on this, because at the time last year when we requested the extension, it was still unclear on how the state was applying that COVID extension. My latest discussion with Amy, we didn't even want to get into it, and that's why we just requested a standard one-year extension. When we requested this extension, we had just finished the field work. We hadn't reviewed the as-built data yet, but just in case we felt we might need to do anything, we decided to submit the extension request. Within days of after submitting that request, the first thing we look at when we do a as-built plan is limit of work line, building location. We did notice that there was a small corner of the building that encroaches into the 50-foot no-build. And on this property, one of the criteria was they were building a wall just very similar to the last project that you had along the 25-foot no disturb, and we found some areas where that wall slightly encroached into the 25-foot by a foot or so. So because of that, we know that we are going to have work. Again, the order is still valid to the end of August. We think we'll need a little more time than that in order to move the wall, and we need to address the no-build. The good thing is the portion of the structure that's in the no-build zone is not a foundation. It's supported by a sonotube, so we need to look at some issues on how to deal with that, and most likely we'll be submitting an amendment request to the commission to address that and to address the wall to allow us to move the wall back. I mean, technically, if the order is still valid, we can move the wall. We could just move the wall and build it per the plan. But because of the encroachment into the 50-foot, we're going to have to come up with some sort of proposal to mitigate for that. And we'll be working with LEC, who's the environmental monitor, who was working with the owners on the mitigation area that was constructed per this project between the wetland edge and the 25-foot no disturb. Some of the commission members may recall that area was full of a lot of debris and a lot of invasives. And they've had very good luck on that. You may recall we recently got a certificate of compliance on Lot 1, and the restoration area behind that lot is doing very well. At that time, which was probably about 5 months ago, LEC submitted a report. They had actually gone out and walked the entire mitigation area, and it was all doing well. But obviously, when we get to the point where we're going to be requesting a certificate of compliance on Lot 2, LEC is going to need to go back out and just verify that things are still going well. And as I pointed out, most likely we'll be submitting an amendment request, which may propose additional mitigation in an area that's currently lawn, which was allowed by the original order. We will most likely be restoring that to a buffer zone of some sort, and then using placards to demarcate that area. But again, I believe that the extension is allowable under the bylaws and the act, and we are requesting a one-year extension until August of 2023. Our plan is to most likely submit an amendment request in September with the intent of getting work done in October or early November, most likely submitting a certificate of compliance request in November if we don't have a lot of plantings, but if the mitigation requires a lot of plantings, then we're probably going to have to go through at least one growing season before we'll be able to submit a COC request. I know that's a lot of information. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Tony?
They already received one extension, right? Was that a year?
Yes.
So this would be the last one under our bylaw, correct?
Correct.
And the act.
In the act, actually.
Yeah, so then just, if it's gonna go over, it would have to be under an enforcement order.
Enforcement order, right.
And you're aware of that, so I have no other.
Yeah, and we'll be fine. Again, it'll be it would be extended to August of 2023.
Yeah.
So we'll have it resolved prior to that.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I visited the site today with Amy and Lou, and I agree with the extension. It's the appropriate vehicle right now.
I'm all set.
No questions.
Okay, motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming.
Thank you.
Decisions.
Only the one?
What happened to Campbell Road?
We don't have a quorum,
Oh,
because Tony
I
missed
missed two on that one.
So,
We can't rehabilitate, Tony?
We did on this one.
we did on Penny Lane, but he missed 2 hearings for Campbell Road. You
Okay.
can't miss more than 1.
Okay.
So, but I told Greg, and Greg told Bill. What are you gonna do?
All right. Penny Lane it is.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, John. See ya.
Yeah.
So, on page 5 and 6, related to the restoration planting in the wetland, we want to add the condition about checking or sourcing plants or any amended soil and keeping an eye out for the Asian jumping worm, like we did for
Yeah.
679 South Bradford.
What was the name of it? Jumping worms?
Asian
They look like giant night crawlers that jump up to a foot off the ground. Sounds like good bait to me.
They jump a
And
foot off the ground?
Yeah.
Where do they originate from?
Asia.
I don't know.
Asia's a big continent.
I know, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But
Inner Mongolia, Outer Mongolia.
But there, I think
Shenyang.
we gave you guys a sheet of information on that, but
Yeah.
basically, they're all over the state,
Yeah.
and they eat all the nutrients in the soil.
Yeah, they
So they
deplete the soil.
deplete the soil. They're bad. And their eggs are the size of a mustard seed, and they're brown.
Ugh.
So, and so the state said, yeah, we're getting reports all over. from all
I did
over.
see a picture of it in your office.
Do they have any natural enemies?
Fish.
I don't know.
Yes, fish, hooks.
But you can't use live bait anymore, right? Can you still
Crawlers.
use live bait?
Where?
Freshwater?
No idea.
I didn't think you could anymore.
Is a worm considered live bait?
It is until you put them on a hook.
Yeah.
Is the bond okay?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the minimum.
I do have one proposed edit
Yeah.
on page 6,
Yep,
letter C at the top.
yep,
The New England wet mix from New England wetland plants.
yeah.
Can we say something like, or other native wetland seed mixes approved by the Conservation Division? Because a lot of times, these certain, specific seed mixes aren't available, or you have
Okay.
to wait months, and, if you have a deadline,
Yeah, gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have, though.
Any questions?
None.
Motion?
So moved.
As amended?
As amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That's unanimous. Motion to adjourn?
Hour and a half. I called an hour, but, it's still pretty good.
Amy, are you good? We have nothing left?
Yep.
Yeah. Motion
I'm
to
all
adjourn,
set.
we gotta make it official.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.